The path unwinding. Master Tan walked slowly down the wooded mountain path, one step at a time. He leaned heavily on his staff, as old bones creaked with the effort. Yet his back was straight and his meditative gaze steady. This pilgrimage to the hidden hermitage had become more difficult with each passing year. But still he walked on, as he had for decades. The early mists were burning away under the rising sun. Birds sang tentative welcomes to the new day. A light breeze whispered through the pines, rustling needles in gentle waves. Master Tan pulled back the fraying straw of his wide conical hat and turned his face up, eyes closed. He wanted to feel the breeze against his wrinkled skin. It was invigorating. Elements of the landscape came alive in each sensory impression, perfectly clear. As Master Tan walked on, his thoughts turned to his old master, Honorable Abbot Wei, under whom he had trained as a young novice. Master Wei had guided Tan's first steps along the eightfold path in their mountain monastery many years ago. The wise old abbot had taught him the secrets of detachment, the freedom from craving that led to enlightenment. But Honorable Wei had also understood Tan's independent spirit and the sincerity of his calling. When the time had come, the abbot made the unprecedented decision to release Tan from monastic vows so he could continue his journey in the world unfettered. It was Master Wei who had told Tan to settle in the hidden hermitage deep in the forest outskirts. Meditate there in silence, Honorable Wei had instructed. Seek the truth in simplicity. Master Tan had bowed low, accepting his teacher's wisdom. Then, with little more than robes and iron pot, he had departed down the winding path. That was so very long ago now. The trail flattened out among moss-covered stones as it followed a murmuring stream. Tan took the opportunity to pause and drink from the crystal waters. After dusting off a flat stone, he sat gratefully despite the creak of bones. His few provisions could wait. It was time to meditate here in this calming eddy beside the stream's endless flow. With hands resting open on his knees, Master Tan closed both eyes. He followed his steady breaths, in and out. A stillness settled through his body. The leaves whispered, the stream babbled its eternal song. Tan sank deeper into meditation, observing each thought as it passed through his mind yet remaining detached. They were like clouds dissipating in the wind. Gradually Tan felt himself merging into the forest, no longer separate. The circulation of sap in towering cedars pulsed through him. His bones became one with the cold stones beneath. Tan's singular essence blended into the landscape. Time ebbed and flowed. When Master Tan opened his eyes again, the angled sunlight had shifted. He took up his staff once more and continued along the faded trail. As he walked, Tan reflected that his long seasons here devoted to silent meditation had rewarded him with gradual mastery over the transient nature of reality. He clung far less fiercely to passing moments and fading glories. Each step of the pilgrimage was made with whole mind and spirit. By late afternoon Tan arrived footsore at the cutoff leading to the secluded hermitage. There beneath the branches sat the modest grass hut he had built so long ago. Seeing it again always brought back memories of Honorable Wei's wise counsel, leading Tan here to dwell apart. How vividly he recalled the pride of assembling its bamboo frame and neat thatched roof himself in his youthful vigor. Though after so much time barely a scrap remained of the original materials, replaced piecemeal over the decades, in Master Tan's mind it stood just as he had built it. With relief he settled on the stone step beside the trickling spring that had sustained him since his arrival. This oasis had never run dry. After drinking his fill, Tan entered the hut's welcoming coolness. He lit a single candle and dragged his weary legs into lotus position atop the woven rush mat. As the forest darkened, Tan sat very still, observing the dancing candle flame until it flickered out. Enveloped in comforting night, he laid himself down to rest for the journey's completion on the morrow. At first light Master Tan was roused, less by the brightening day than the prickling sense that something monumental was about to occur. His weathered hands flowed through the familiar rhythms of preparing morning tea. But his thoughts turned again and again to Honorable Wei. Why after so many years did his master's face appear so vividly now? Their farewell had been long ago. Master Tan steadied his mind through slow breaths as he sipped the bitter tea. Whatever this day held, he knew he must continue placing one foot after the other along the path unwinding. The past could bind him or set him free, depending on his attachment. With serene acceptance Tan gathered his few things, extinguished the embers of his little fire, and set off once more into the forest. The final stretch of the journey passed swiftly, Tan's senses mingling with vibrant woods. Unusual birds called overhead as his staff landed rhythmically among roots and stones. Tan's path seemed to spiral inward toward some hidden center. At last he stepped out into a sunlit glade and beheld the heart of the forest, a tranquil pool, its surface flawlessly still. This was Tan's ultimate destination on his annual pilgrimage. To sit here in profound meditation beside these deeply reflective waters, as he had done for endless seasons. To gaze within and perceive reality with utmost clarity, Master Tan found his accustomed perch on a flat rock at water's edge. He placed aside his staff and drew back the sleeves of his simple robe. Eyes closed, his lined hands rested open on his knees, one palm upward receiving the world, the other pointing down in grounded humility. Tan followed each slow breath until a timeless state of meditative awareness opened before him. Yet this time, something extraordinary occurred as Master Tan gazed inward. Rather than dissolving into perfect emptiness, he perceived a vision coalescing in the void. There in the stillness sat Honorable Abbot Wei, not as Tan had known him in vigorous middle years but as an ascetic elder, much as Tan saw himself now. Master Wei's knowing eyes looked deeply into Tan's. And Tan understood. Their years apart in separate hermitages had been but one winding path. In silence they had walked together always, linked by teachings and memories. Now the moment had come to unite again in the great cosmic flow. Master Tan felt eternal oneness permeating his very bones. The vision began to recede. Master Tan remained in meditative poise even as a single teardrop welled and rolled down his cheek. Honorable Wei's face blurred, fading into rainbowed nothingness. When Tan at last opened his eyes, the glade resounded with skittering life once more. The forest's endless cycle continued. Yet Tan knew in his heart that Master Wei had passed from this plane into the next. They would meet again there anon. Master Tan rose mindfully, tucking away the power of the experience but not clinging to it. He lifted his staff and contemplated the still pool one last time. This pilgrimage was complete, all journeys end where they begin. With slow steps Tan followed the trail back into the sheltering green, leaves and stones and water merging into the flow of the eternal now.